Hi, we're going to do the second part of lesson 3-1, showing the shortcut method or the equation method. The equation method is what most adults use. It's a little bit faster, but not all adults use it. The concept here is that we've just rearranged that percent proportion into an equation that we can get through faster. So the part is right here. And remember when we worked on this lesson last time, it was in the upper left. So it's still in the same location. And the percent is still in the same location. But they've taken the whole, and the opposite of dividing by a whole is to multiply it by a whole. So they've moved the whole from here to over here. And this it gives us an equation because when you're working through a lot of percents, it's faster to do it this way. But it's a little bit harder because this percent is no longer over 100, so you have to change it to a decimal. Here, the percent was over 100, but here it's not. And so when it's not over 100, you need to change it into its decimal form by dividing by 100. So this was a little bit more risky, but faster if you're really good about changing percents into decimals. We need to know that you're just basically translating an equation, and the concept of what means are unknown, is means equals, of means multiply, and again, that percent must be in its decimal form. And you just go through it word by word. In some ways, it really makes more sense. What is, what says X, is means equal, 20%. This is one of the errors. This means 20 per every 100, and 20 for every 100 is 20 hundredths. That's a big mistake. Of means multiply, and 48. So you do 20 hundredths times 48. So X would, multiply those on a calculator, be 9.6. Notice this is the same exact problem that we did earlier in the week. Here we were using a proportion method, which is a little bit easier, but now we're doing the same problem in a faster way. But we have these new things to memorize. Let's try the next one. Here, the X was out on the left all by itself. It's going to be in a different location each time. 40 is means equals 80 per 100. 80 per 100 means 80 hundredths. Of means multiply. What number? Means X. Okay, here, when these two numbers are next to us, we multiply. But here, we have our answer and we're working backwards to figure out what was this number that went here. We've seen this before. It's a one-step equation. The opposite of multiplying, dividing. 40 divided by 80 hundredths. You would do that on a calculator. Over here, you don't have to do it. Those cross cancel out, just leaving you with X. It's the left side that you actually do. And I did this earlier on a calculator, and 40 divided by 80 hundredths is 50. When you divide by a number less than 1, notice your quotient gets larger. When you divide, it doesn't always get smaller. It only gets smaller if your thing that you're dividing by is larger than 1. If it's less than 1, it actually will get bigger. Learn something today. Okay, 3 out of 5 is what percent? I just do this one as how it would be written on a test. 3 out of 5 is what percent? Which means 3 divided by 5. And when I do 3 divided by 5 on a calculator, the calculator will tell me that it's 0.6. And to change that to a percent, I would multiply it by 100. So it's 60%. Notice I wrote it here with a 0 at the end, and here I didn't. It doesn't matter. 60 hundredths is the same thing as 6 tenths. They're the same, just different ways. Okay. Notice again that these were all the same problems that we did up here. Some of you are going to like the proportion method best, and you're going to stick with it. The advantage with the proportion method is you don't need to change the percent into a decimal. It's over 100, and that's what a definition of a percent is. Some of you are going to want to go to the equation method because it's faster. We like to get problems done as fast as we can. Okay, But be careful, many students make errors forgetting to change this percent into a decimal. Notice the X is in different spots. Here, the X is out front and we multiply. Here, the X is at the end and we have to divide. Here, we're looking for the part that was the 20 hundredths. Here, we know the part and we were looking for the whole. What was the whole that when we took 80% of it gave us 40? And here, we're just looking for a percent.